Welcome, welcome. Happy Thursday. It's me, Brandy P, with another episode or podcast of Yes, I Am the Veteran. And it was a wild week last week. I'm not even going to lie, but Maggie had an amazing tattoo by an ink master. Thank you guys all so much for supporting us on our journey to get our veteran tattooed, as we absolutely should be taking care of our sisters in arms. And it was amazing to see an ink master, his work on her. It was phenomenal. A lot harder to keep her alive than I thought. Actually, with this veteran, she's pretty wild. She tried taking the escalator with her wheelchair several times. She didn't quit, and she got to go up in a Huey. We were able to meet Round Canopy Parachuting Team for Operation Black Cat, which is amazing. And it was quite an experience, and we truly appreciate all the help from our viewers and our sponsors as well. We had people come online I didn't know were even watching our show. So I'm quite honored that we had the support that we did, and thank you very much. And I did want to go ahead and introduce our special guest for tonight, Mr. Arron Coote, and he is the CEO of Bausele, and I'll let him introduce himself as well. Did you want to go and introduce yourself, sir?
Sure. I'm still coming down from that music. It's quite a rev up. It was great. I'm Arron Coote. I'm the CEO of Bausele Watches Australia. I'm actually currently sitting in Sydney, Australia. You can see behind me in that print, but I'm based in LA, and this is the first time I've been home for a little while. I've been in the US for 7 years, and really happy to be here and appreciate you having me to let me tell my story.
Absolutely. I mean, I think what you're doing is amazing. I mean, you are an Australian watchmaker that quite literally is doing some amazing things with veteran troops from the U.S. I mean, I know when I was at Vet Radio Syndicate, it was something that we had a good amount of Australian followers that would actually watch our show, but it's quite literally very much something else to see someone come on our show from Australia. So you are our first Australian guest. So you do have that specific honor, and we're very much thankful that you came on tonight.
Thank you. It's good to be here, and there's a long history between Australia and the US military, and people might say why. And for me, I think it's a good place to start. Is that Australia's the only country who has fought side by side with the US in every fight, every battle from day one to now. And I believe in what they call the start of 100 years of mateship was in the Battle of Hamel, where the first non-US citizen to lead US troops was an Australian, General John Monash. So it's and that they say that there's some articles out there that say that is what started 100 years of mateship. And I love America, and I love Australia, and I love how we can help each other.
I love that we're both like different independent types of Hellraisers, kind of all joined together to do different amazing things. And I mean, your watches are definitely nothing to sniff at. I mean, I know when I was a medic in the Air Force, which I was a little sad to see there's no medics, not one. But honestly, for me, I lived and died by my watch in the military. So for me, like when I would do run reports, I was very prone to writing on my hands, because I would write the vital signs of my patients. We had to live off of our watches because we would have to count the respiration rate, their pulse rate, anything that for like a drop rate for medications. We very much used it. I mean, I had a kind of a broke down watch that you probably make fun of if you saw it. However, it still was effective at times. But very much a great watch is very hard to come by in the military, and we tend to be very hard on our watches. So I'm going to add our guest for tonight, our guest host, should I say, Bill Markham on, and I'm going to have him introduce himself if that's okay. So let's go ahead and do that.
Sure.
All right. Hey, Bill, how are you doing?
Hey, Brandy, how are you?
Good, sir. So I hear you're driving a long drive today.
Yes, should have been home by now. Hi, Arron, by the way. Should have been home by now, but we've spent a little more time at Fort Bragg than we expected. So, yeah, on the road. Sorry about that.
Nope, we understand. I mean, it's military life. We get that very much. And I was just telling Arron a little bit about our weekend last weekend. It was amazing meeting you all with Round Canopy Parachuting Team last weekend.
Yeah. So if I can, before I lose you guys, I'll try to tell you what I can real quick. The Round Canopy Parachuting Team is a 501c3 non-profit foundation, basically meaning we support the veteran-oriented organization trying to remember the legacy of the World War II paratrooper and all of the paratroopers that have come before us. We do that through 2 training events each year, located in Palatka, Florida, which is just south of Jacksonville, Florida. And we train paratroopers that have were once paratroopers in the military and then have retired. They want to get back under canopy. We'll take them through a training course. Or any military or law enforcement or civilian individuals that didn't get that opportunity, and we'll teach them how to be a paratrooper, which then gives them the opportunity to go to Normandy, France, to jump for the D-Day invasion commemorative jumps, as well as the Operation Market Garden commemorative jumps in Holland.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and we do that, by the way, guys, in authentic World War II aircraft. So as we hook up our anchor line cable, it's to the very anchor line cable that those World War II paratroopers hooked up to 78 years ago during the D-Day invasion and the Operation Market jumps.
Wow.
It was amazing going up into Huey from, was it the Vietnam era? Like that was a wild, was it the Tico Bell we were in? Is that the name of the aircraft?
Yeah, so our fall event, our spring event is geared towards, again, it's in March, and we do that. That train up is for Operation Overlord, which is the D-Day invasion. And then that leads into in September for Operation Market Garden. Our fall event, which is in October. So as a military guy and gal, let's just put it like this. We Desert Storm, as well as Afghanistan, we came back as heroes. Our Vietnam veterans were spat upon. So we're trying to do what we can to honor our Vietnam veterans before they all pass away. And we do that by making that event, our full event, Operation Black Cat. It's a tiger stripe, OD green uniform to remember, and we bring in those authentic helicopters, that UH-1 you would have seen in Vietnam.
Yep.
Wow.
And that was the amazing part of it. It was like living history. Like through this organization, I actually met one of the last surviving Rosies, May Cryer, which is amazing. It was quite literally speaking with her story, which we were very, very honored to even have on our show. And through this nonprofit, I mean, they quite literally keep history alive, which is what I definitely, when you had scheduled with us, we absolutely had to reach out to Bill because, you know, it's similar mindsets. I know your watches, you do 1940s style face or like a wider style watch itself. Your watches are so pretty. Look at like, oh man. Me and Bill were just talking about it. Bill says that he's never had a watch that will survive a jump.
Well, we may need to test that one, Bill.
Okay, I'm willing to be a test subject if that's what it takes. But I usually go through a watch every year since I jump almost every weekend, Arron.
Well, I think, you know, I'm not sure I want to say what I'm about to say, but I would like to experience that. Maybe. I don't know. Get me on there. Get me with you guys.
Okay. Well, here's we have jumpers that come from around the world, and I say that just this event, we had a young man come from Belgium. Last year we had, earlier in the year, Norway, Sweden. So we do have jumpers come from around the world to come jump with us. So the invite is out there for you to come and let me show you what it's like to jump out of an authentic or a World War II aircraft.
That was the wild part, watching you guys do like the line jump and then do like the actual like static jumps. or like the separate jumps, like that was pretty interesting to watch, like history in the making, or not in the making, but
Sure.
just history, and be a viewer to it. Like, so we were the looky-loos, they called us. And so it was pretty wild to just watch everyone jump, much less be a part of it. And now it looks like me and an amputee might be jumping out of a plane in March. But you really never know.
Yeah. So, Arron, again, I would be glad for the viewing audience as well as you, if you could take this down, RCPT. That's Romeo, Charlie, Papa, Tango, Oscar, Romeo, Golf.org. That is our team website. And we try to put all the information about who we are, what our mission is, what we're trying to accomplish, what we're trying to remember. And then our training events, also our partnerships that we work with, and the people that try to help us do what we do as a non-profit.
Mm-hmm. And
the training classes you'll see once you go to our website. Yeah. Our training sites, what you'll see, Arron, is when you go there, you'll just see it, and you go and just try to log into the class and set yourself up as a jumper, and then it's up to you guys, or I say you as the jumper, to come to the event. And after that, once you come to us, I'll take care of you from there. And at the end of the event, in the training, you'll be pinned with your RCPT silver wings.
Wow.
Your jump wings.
It's as exciting as it is scary for me, but you know, it sounds like an amazing cause, and if we can help in any way, I'd put my hand up for that.
Great, thank you. Well, I would again, as I was telling Brandy, I would when I retired from the military, almost 29 years, she bought me a really expensive watch, and I just wear it on occasions. I usually go through a couple of like a G-Shock watch a year, just because I am so tough on it. So I'm extremely excited that you're making a watch that has a history behind it, that is also made by veterans, that is out there to show people that a high quality watch can be made. So I'm excited to see it, excited to potentially test that for you.
Well, I like the sound of that. I'm excited and honored just to be able to do it. To be perfectly honest, I've run different businesses, different products over the years, but this, through my friendship with Jamal and how this collaboration came about, we started off as we first started producing watches for the Australian Army Intelligence Corps. Then in 2020, we were selected, or 21, to be the official watch of the Royal Australian Air Force 100th anniversary. And in those watches, in the hollow crown, we put some soil from Point Cook, which is the place of the first ever Royal Australian Air Force base in 1912. Their motto was then, now, and always. So we had then covered. For the now, they gave us a piece of the first ever F-18 fighter jet produced and flown in Australia. So we put that on the case back. So we had then and now. And then always was their logo on the dial, which was their commitment to always serve the Australian people. So we had a beautiful story for the whole 100 years of their anniversary, to celebrate their centenary for then, now, and always. That it made me realize that they were the Air Force was giving a percentage of sales was going back to restoring old planes. Which is what gave me the idea, because Jamal and I had always been talking about how we could help with some of the veteran problems, and he'd taken me to a few veteran organizations in LA, and I just had the idea to pitch to one of the big departments of defense, or one of the big military defenses in the US, and the first one I did was the Army, and I cold called them through the website form, and I pitched them an idea to help with help veteran charities through a watch that tells an amazing story, designed by veterans, assembled by veterans, and we also have some soil in the hollow crown from some of the forts around the country as an extra little touch to have a piece of history, and a percentage of sales going back to helping veterans. And then I expected never to hear back from from the Army again, because it's the Army and I'm just
Exactly.
Arron. And then the next morning I had an email, first email in my inbox from was the last email I sent in the first reply, and it said, "Dear Mr. Coote, while historically we've only given licenses to US and Canadian brands, we really love this concept." And then from there, it led on to for the next 8 months of ticking some boxes, and we set up a US entity and things, and here we are. We now have some prototypes that have been designed.
Those are so
and
cool.
These were designed to. This is a field watch, and these were designed a team of veterans with Christoph Hopp, our designer, and it's really amazing to have an idea a couple of years ago to now actually have a physical product in my hand and have a team of people who are so grateful for being allowed to be part of it. But for me, I'm so grateful for them for giving me the opportunity to be able to do well by doing good. Maybe I wake up fresh each morning because I have a purpose and a mission.
And that's what, we as veterans, we tend to forget, is what was our sense of purpose? What's our mission, right? When we get out, like, we really look to that. And I think it was amazing that you had about 12 subject matter experts or something like that, where they came on and they helped as far as giving like any sort of insight towards your project. I thought that was amazing that you even allowed that.
Absolutely. They were in every step of the way. We designed the watch from an old military document that the Department of Defense put out for 2 watches and what a watch needed to be approved in the military. And the last time we worked off the mil-spec document that was released in 1991, I think November 1991. And we had to develop it to that specification, but with our flavor, and also with the veterans. And one thing that they wanted is because of, I'm a big passionate mental health campaigner, and one of the things that we put on the back of the watch, which was in collaboration with the veterans, was anti-negative vibes.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, we wanted this to be a reminder of, like, things get tough and we can focus and kind of get caught up in the heavy things in life, but this can be a reminder of the time you've got left and a second chance, and we can use it well, and just, hey, anti-negative vibes, let's look after each other and take the time to do what's important to us, and to take the time to check on each other. And whatever we need, we all need different things to get through each day, because of, we've all had different experiences that affect us in different ways, but trauma affects our every move or every thought of every day forever. And it's something that I wanted to. This is part of the biggest reason why I wanted to do this, and to be able to help, just because of my friendship with Jamal, and we became a really solid support for each other, and noticed that we had quite a lot in common around different types of PTSD, but mine from childhood trauma, his from his story, but the net effect was the same. And we all have the same basic human wants and needs for safety and love and warmth. And, we talked about how we could scale what we give each other. And I saw an opportunity and reached out to the Army, and here we are. I reached out to the Army because Jamal was Army. He was 101st Airborne out of Fort Campbell.
I was wondering if he was with your Green Beret yet. Yeah,
and Nate Boyer was on there as well. He was a Green Beret. Had a really amazing team, and each one of their stories were quite I could listen to them all day. And there were 2, Jamal and Rowan Martin. He was an Army medic, and they served together 30 years ago, and they talked a lot about when they were together. They talked a lot about what they do after, after getting out. And we're talking the other day, and I said, "Did you ever think you would be designing a watch with an Australian brand that's a Swiss watch company that makes Swiss watches, and helping on a cause or a mission to help veterans?" And that's no way, never in our wildest dreams. But Agreed. Here we are.
You really never know. And honestly, it's kind of amazing because Bill actually had a lot of his members are 101st and 82nd. So that's entirely his territory. But you very much lose a sense of purpose when you get out, and you forget all the different ways in which your life can change or take different ways that you would not have thought of. And I think that it's great that you're giving these veterans a sense of purpose, because of the fact that all too often, unfortunately, the loss of that sense of purpose is what leads to the 22 a day statistic, unfortunately. And I think that it's great that you ask them in, because you absolutely didn't have to do that. And for you to include us, it absolutely meant a lot to all of us. And for me personally, like, I know for me, I thought it was amazing what you guys are doing, and you're still giving back to the veteran community, and veterans are assembling these watches as well as being subject matter experts. And I think that it's amazing. And it's funny because I know you're out of LA mostly, but it was an LA based veteran organization that recommended to have you come on. They were like, no, he needs to come on. Like, this guy's amazing. Huh. And I was like, wow. And so what they do is called Vets for Success, and they help veterans that are at risk in the LA area. We just helped them. There was a veteran that was in the hospital, and her daughter was in the hospital, and she was homeless, and she was going to have to sleep in the park in LA that night. And because of them,
Vets for Success.
Yep, Vets for Success.
Yeah, good guys, yep. Like really good guys. I love what they do on a case by case level. They're always onto something, and they're always helping in some way that no one would ever hear of. The stories no one would ever hear, but they're veterans' everyday stories who are just in need, that they're just all around us. It's amazing.
And unfortunately, like, so many nonprofits are tapped out for the year already. They were tapped out in July. So it's amazing that you are working with these different nonprofits. I know my heart is for the women veterans and their children, as well as like veterans PTSD. That's why I've written 3 different articles in regards to different therapies for veterans that are alternative that the VA does offer, just because we don't really keep our veterans up to date as far as new alternative treatments that the VA does offer. But absolutely, I think this is an amazing opportunity that you're giving these veterans. And I mean, a lot of people are looking at them. I mean, I didn't see enough medics though, but I thought it was pretty amazing that you had as many subject matter experts on your show as you did. Because
we had one medic in there. Rohan Doc Martin. He's a solid guy. Look, I think I don't know. I'm honored to be able to do it, and I know I've said that again, and I just don't feel like I can ever get that across enough. Yeah, I don't know. It's an opportunity for me that it feels like all the different areas of my life have come together over my whole experience, from my breakdown in my early 20s to my business, constantly learning, to my jiu-jitsu, to my mental health, to my therapy. It's like it's all kind of converged into one project, and it feels really good. It feels like goosebumps.
But I'm glad that you're able to have that, and you're able to marry all those together, like all those different things that are your interests as far as your business. It's funny, I actually ended up at the UFC Hall of Fame induction like 2 years ago. So that was an experience. So Mark Coleman, the UFC Hall of Famer, he has come on our show. That was wild. But
I'm sure.
He was talking about mental toughness. That was very much a topic that he had to discuss. And so that was pretty interesting to hear him speak on it. But I know he's coming on our show again in a few months. So we'll definitely have to have you come on as a guest host. But
come and say hello.
He's very cool. Interesting guy. He's doing a lot of interesting projects. But it looks like we have a couple different people that have asked to be on as guests. I don't know if you sent the invite, but let's see who we have here. Oh, what's going on, John? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Bill said he was having trouble while he was driving, so he sent me a link, and I came in the middle of Aaron's conversation here. So I apologize. I'm a little behind the power curve, so I don't know what I can do to help.
Aw, look at your brother supporting another brother. I'm here for this. Yes. Okay. And then we got Sky.
Nice to meet you, John.
Here. Yeah, he sent 2 backups. He just sent 1 backup.
Hi, guys.
Mark, you're on mute, sir.
Yeah, Sky. There you go.
Yeah, I'm with Round Canopy Parachuting Team. So yeah, Bill sent out the help beacon, so we jumped on here.
Wow, Bill gets it done.
He does, actually.
Right away. Yeah.
He yells at us if we don't, so
He does, actually. No, they're pretty amazing guys, and I love how they always have each other's 6, and they're always looking to look out. So we'll have you guys on, and you can be the guest host for the night. But So I know you had talked a little bit about you and Jamal and how you had started out this whole project. Was it something that you had thought of yourself and you kind of wanted to act on it? Or was it something that veterans came to you guys and said, hey, we want to do something for our brothers and sisters. Would you guys want to participate?
No, it was something that we did. Since I first moved to the US about 7 years ago, a little over 7 years ago, I was really kind of knocked around by the homelessness in LA when I first got here. Got there. I'm in Sydney right now. We obviously there's homelessness all over the world, but we don't have much here. I mean, admittedly, we have Australia's population in the Southern California, so it's an easier, smaller group to take care of. But my wife and I had always talked about how can we help, how can we do something. And then when Jamal and I were, Jamal took me to once we got to know each other quite well, he took me to a veteran surf day at Malibu as part of Merging Vets and Players, which is a peer-to-peer support group that I'm a part of. And I can't remember the other one, but I was out in the surf and watching these guys. I've surfed my whole life, and I was watching these guys paddling into waves with big smiles on their face, and without knowing they were about to get wiped out. I mean, I could see, but they had no idea. But they just had fun and they were having a ball. Then back on the beach, there was like the mood was still high, but there was a quietness and a sadness to a few of them. Not necessarily sadness, but definitely a quietness and reserve. And I knew that feeling pretty well from my own, my own times and my own breakdown and things. So I thought that day that, this was a section of the people that I'd seen, or a section of the problem that I'd seen in the US that since I'd been here that I wanted to help. I kind of thought they were my people. We got each other. So that's where it came from. And, I mean, it's a huge problem. I don't think I can fix it, but I'd like to spend as much time as I need to trying,
So, I mean, for you, I mean, I know you opened the door as far as working with like the U.S. Army in this upcoming project. Is this something that you're planning on doing, like some sort of tour in the U.S., or are you planning on doing some sort of event coming up to show off your hard work?
We're looking to do a couple of events. We're just talking about it now. Jamal was up in Fort Campbell talking about it today, and then he was driving back, super excited, telling me all the things that he'd found and what he wants to do, and because he's right involved, he loves it. And I mean, look, for us, we're going to roll out. We have some press coming out. We're about to. I want to set up. What I really would like to set up is an affiliate program, because most affiliate program for associations, and also affiliate program for veterans, because most affiliate programs we see these days are, it's all influencers flogging different products every day. And I don't want to, no offense to any influencers, or if you guys are influencers, or I don't know.
Women to do things, so I don't know if that counts.
But I would love for any veteran in the country to be able to be a part of our affiliate program. And, if they have an Instagram or whatever, and would like to, we'll give any veteran 20% of any of total revenue direct from any direct link to their affiliate link on social media or wherever. So
you don't sell casinos, you sell quite expensive watches.
So there's these field watches, they're 700 US. I really struggle with that. And then, I mean, so there's 140 straight up that can help. The guys at Vets for Success that we just talked about. $140 goes a long way to help some of those people that just need a sleeping bag or just need a room for the night. There's a place in LA that does horse therapy, and for the guys go and brush the horses each day, and that they need $300 a week to feed their horses. And it's not a lot of money for corporate. We're not corporate. We're a small business, but I'd like to be a small business who, does big things, which we have for me, I don't know how to half do things. So I'm all in and doing what we can in any way we can.
And we very much appreciate you. I mean, absolutely. I mean, you giving all of our veterans like these avenues in which to try to earn money. I mean, using their influence. I think that's amazing. For me, I tend to influence women to do things they shouldn't. So I don't really mess with. However, I have wild adventures. But at the end of the day, I think that's great, especially with the holidays coming around. So would they just need to go to Bausele, like on like .com and specifically
Yeah. Bausele.com, and you'll see up in the top left corner, it'll say US Army, and that will take you to the US Army watch pages, which are our field watches. And then just scroll down, and at the bottom it says join our affiliate program, our veteran affiliate program, and just enter your details, and yeah, whatever we can do, and we'll help you. Like I don't know, we want to help, and I know it's easy to say, yeah, we'll help you, we want to help, but there's a lot that there's a lot of super passionate people behind this. And I was saying to someone the other day, I just flew into Sydney 2 days ago, and I came straight to the office. They said, "Aren't you tired?" I said, "Under normal circumstances, I would be if it was just another normal day, but in this project with Jamal and I, like, we on the phone all day, every day, saying, hey, what about X, or what about Y, or did you hear such and such said? I want to do, they want to be involved." And it's been an open door from everybody, right from that very first email to the US Army. Everybody says, I want to help in some way. And for me, that kind of validates my idea. It really makes me feel warm that it is there is a community here that is, and if we can create some type of movement to make some type of change, then that just even hearing myself say that sounds so arrogant, but
no,
because who am I? But I want to do my thing.
Well, you're doing a very good job at it. You were in watch time, sir. I saw that. That was pretty amazing. They don't just put like anybody on there. So, I mean, obviously they very much believed in your craftsmanship and your mission, which I think is amazing. I mean, most people, when they're well-to-do in business, they tend to forget about what got them there, or things that are interesting to them or drivers for them for change. And, we very much as service members appreciate the fact that you're thinking about us. I mean, we tend to be forgotten. And I think that you having that even as like a resource for veterans on top of making something that you made for us, I think it definitely speaks in volumes. And I
was lucky enough to be we were the official watch of the Invictus Games in The Hague this year. And I was lucky enough to spend 5 days there. And I came out of there and, you couldn't not want to do more. It was the best healing energy of 500 people all healing and overcoming their trauma through sport. It was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. And I don't know how you could not want to do more, or how you could, I couldn't forget that, let alone, like, I don't know. So it's amazing. And I'm just happy and proud and just, I'm lost for words. Every time I talk about Invictus Games, and I talk about it a lot, I just don't know how to explain it. There were so many events that I watched with tears streaming down my face, and the whole place was crying.
Really?
Oh yeah, amazing. In the pool, they lower people down in their wheelchairs, and it takes them maybe 5 to 10 minutes to get the race set up by the time they get to the end, and then the starter's gun goes and they go. And it's like 2 laps. And in a lot of situations, you would think like you would probably rescue the person, but that there's no way they're not reaching that finish line. And you think you're having a bad day, but like that is some of the most inspirational things that I never thought I would. The energy is just crazy. And it's
amazing.
There was one guy, I think he's from Denmark. It's Denmark or Norway. It's remiss of me to not remember, but they only brought PTSD sufferers. They brought 12 PTSD sufferers. No, I shouldn't say only, but they specifically brought PTSD sufferers. And there was a guy that wore this Viking helmet every day, and he was a character that was around there. And I stopped him and I talked to him. I said, "Hi mate, how are you?" I had to say hello. And then I said, "Are you good?" And he said, "No, I'm shitting myself." And I went, "What for?" And he said, I'm in the swimming tomorrow and I hate the water. And I went, what? Yeah. I said, what? And he said, yeah, my PTSD comes from a drowning incident. And but I'm going to swim that race tomorrow, and I'm going to, and he said it was actually an Australian in Sydney that helped him first get his head under the water the first time since his incident. Wow. And so he kind of, and I couldn't wait to get there to see his race. But I mean, that's just fear, feel the fear and do it anyway. Like we need these small wins to recover, and we need to have the little small wins in the confidence bank. Anything that we shy away from out of fear, it detracts from our, it's a withdrawal from our confidence bank, in my opinion, anyway. So just got to keep.
I think it's amazing. Like I remember was actually reading about the fact that you guys were recognized during those games. In William Ernest Henley, the author of Invictus, that poem, he actually was an amputee, double amputee, if I'm correct, if I remember. Mm-hmm. And he wrote that when he was in the ward about to lose his second leg. And he wrote Invictus, that poem, to talk about his own strength, like what his own situation he was going through. And I think a lot of our service members can really identify with that poem specifically because of the fact that, you're talking about going to like the depths of your grit that you have and being able to come back for more. And for me personally, like I refused to give into that. And that was a big reason I ended up running for Miss Veteran America, which kind of led to this like wild, like podcast and everything else that's happened since. But that's why, I wanted Maggie Maybiliu, our amputee that came with us, to meet our CPT and, go to Operation Black Cat because of the fact that I wanted her to be empowered, right? Because I think a lot of times when we suffer such severe loss, we go into points where we think that we don't have a voice. There's nothing more for us, like this is it. And you don't think about yourself, living your best life as a different person than you were when you went into that. And I think that is amazing that you were able to be at something like that. I think it would have been a sight to see. I was super excited just seeing Maggie up in a Huey. And I mean, she fell asleep, but that's the argument. But we can sleep doing anything. But at the end of the day, it was amazing being there for her. It was amazing having her go and get her tattoo by an ink master. And she didn't believe that it was going to happen. And I was like, well, ma'am, you haven't met someone like me. If I tell you I'm going to do it, my word is my bond. I'll break my back doing it, but it'll happen. And, so she has a giant, amazing memorial tattoo from her top of her shoulder to her elbow almost now of the 5 service members she lost that day with her leg. And, the guys at RCPT, you guys were awesome. It was amazing for Maggie to see and be accepted by everyone. I know that's a big issue as well, is just acceptance, right? Like you're different, but not everyone always accepts you as being different. I've had people tell me to cover up because I'm scaring their children. I've had people tell me that I'm a monster, I'm a freak, I'm a disgrace. Not everyone has my experience, but at the end of the day, that's why I advocate and I do what I do, is because I know what it's like to be truly loved without. So I know we've been talking so much, so I wanted to quickly say hi to Sky Shark. What's going on, Sky Shark?
Not a whole lot. Just came on here. I know Bill's traveling back from
Bragg. Yeah, I know. I had to give you some shit though.
Yeah, yeah. He looked like he had an incredible time there with retired Sergeant Major Rick Lamb and his induction into the Hall of Fame there.
Yeah, we did. That was amazing. Like I was just thankful that you guys let us go out on the tarmac. Like I was equally amazed that I made it up into the aircraft.
Yeah.
I was like, I got a dead leg. I'm like trying to Maggie's like hopping down off of the Huey because she's got one leg and her prosthetic was malfunctioning. So she didn't have her prosthetic. So yeah, it was an adventure. We appreciate you all.
Yeah.
And John, how are you doing, John?
Doing just fine. Still just doing all the admin stuff at the end of the event, as you can imagine, when you have 150 people show up to fall out of the sky. So there's a lot of stuff to wrap up and make sure we're all set. But it was nice to see you there. I think we met the very last day.
Yes. Yep. I was there on the last day. So it's funny because you guys didn't know this, but Bob Sturgeon, we named him Sassy Pants. That's his new name.
Okay.
We renamed him. But he's an Italian jumper. And he's a super cool guy. And he actually ended up meeting all the Miss Veteran America title holders. So that was pretty funny.
Oh, okay.
Yep, he went with us. And we took him into the hotel that they had the competition for Miss Veteran America, and he was able to meet them. So that was pretty funny. So I think he's in some photos in his flight suit, repping RCPT. It's kind of funny.
I think I saw he had posted some stuff on Facebook about that, so I had seen that earlier today.
Yep, he got to meet the founder of the nonprofit too. She was on Oprah and everything, so that was pretty. It was an adventure.
That I didn't know.
Yep. There's a whole documentary about that nonprofit. It's called Serve Like a Girl, and it's on Amazon Video. So that's actually what inspired me to compete when I did, and then that's how I ended up being the Hot Mom of the Year, and it kind of went from there. But anyways.
So when are you going to be coming back to jump?
You know this, sir.
Okay.
You know I'm going to be back in March. I mean, especially if May is going to be there. Of course, I'm going to go say.
But with the parachute on, not just to ride in an airplane, but to actually leave the airplane.
Nope, I'm getting thrown out of a perfectly good airplane. I've been threatened it for years, so now it's happening. So
good.
But yes,
but we had worked with this about 3 years ago. We worked with Grunt Style, and they had they brought in a handful of amputees that came through our jump course, and I'm sure it's buried deep down in the interwebs there somewhere, but they did a wonderful job of putting a video together. Yep. And it was interesting because they had all these wounded warriors, these veterans who had not all of them had lost it in combat situations. There was somebody who lost a leg in a car accident, I believe, but they were all regretting that they were unable to ever in their career to make it to jump school and stuff. And when you watch this video, they have them sitting in like the old Band of Brothers, you know, there's a black background and they're sitting on a stool and they're lit from two sides and they're telling their story and stuff like that. And then Mike Fahey, who was there, just goes, well, how would you like to go to jump school? And you just see them pause and they're like, wait, what? And it says, he goes, we're going to send you to jump school. Now, obviously, it's not the U.S. Army jump school, but as Bill probably explained before I got on, we use the same equipment, the same jump commands, the same standards that were set by the U.S. Army, who has done all the hard work to make sure that that people can leave an airplane as safely as possible. And much of us are U.S. Army trained. I was a jump master in the military and spent many, many years on jump status in my 20-year career. Anyway, so they came and and we had amputees falling out of the sky, and it scared the hell out of me because I was afraid we're going to break the other half of them. But the look on their faces and their sense of accomplishment and not even just for them, but for everyone that has come and jumped with us and gave us a similar story. I never got the opportunity. I always wanted to do this. I had a parent or this, and watching their faces coming off the drop zone and specifically those individuals, the wounded warriors, was absolutely inspirational. And, it's keeps us going. It's a lot of fun to do that.
Yeah. Mikey, I don't know if he told you guys this story, but I'm going to tell it now because it's my show. But the reason I met Mikey was I crashed a staff meeting and I roasted their t-shirt designers so hard about not being flattering to females that they threatened to throw me out of a perfectly good airplane. And so it was kind of funny, 2 years almost to the day, that's when I met you all. So it's kind of interesting, turnabout, I guess, on things. But yeah, Mikey is big. He was air vac himself, so I think that's pretty cool that he likes to go around full circle and help his brothers and sisters, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about, right? Helping your brothers and sisters in arms, helping each other, being better people than, we would have liked to have treatment-wise. So at the end of the day, that's why I like to do what I did, because I was a triple limb salvage survivor. So for me, that's why I like to try to help other veterans like myself, how I saw myself once, because it isn't so important, right? And I think I'm sure Arron feels similarly as well, as he wants to highlight these veterans that are his subject matter experts. I think it's amazing that you're doing what you're doing. What was the biggest challenge when it came to working with veterans? And then we're difficult to work with, Arron.
We haven't really had any challenges. In the design committee, I think one wanted a skull and crossbones on the dial. He wanted it to be Army versus I think it's Army versus Navy, the football,
Yep.
Army versus Air Force football.
Yeah.
He wanted to take the skull and crossbones off that logo and put it on. But they all had their own personal things that they wanted to commit to it. But Christoph, the designer, he just wanted to help. He usually designs on his own, so he felt part of something as well, and it was just a really cool energy. I stayed out of the design process for the most part, but I love watching and I love seeing all the answers come back and watching it unfold and watching where it was going, and then getting, unsolicited emails saying, thank you for allowing me to be part of something like this. And it means a lot, and it's no real challenges, no real challenges in the design process at all. It's I'm quite looking forward to starting the assembly process. All of our parts are being manufactured at the moment. They should arrive in the States next early. What day is it now? Yeah, in a couple of weeks.
Nice.
I forgot what day it is.
Just in time for the holidays.
I forgot what day it is. I'm jet lagged from LA's a day behind us. I'm a day in front of you guys now, which I'm used to the other way around, being in LA and working with Sydney.
Oh, I feel so bad. We're having you stay up so late.
Oh no! Today it's midday now. I'm ahead of you guys. It's lunchtime. It's 8:30 p.m. or 10 to 9 for you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's midday here, almost 1. So
I feel so bad then. And so, what is the importance of preserving history through your watchmaking?
Look, I guess maybe in this day and age, there's so many different. Everyone has their own opinion, their own version, their own whatever. But history is history, and it's important to the people that lived it. And if we can tell a watch that honors their history, and also, for me, it's about the people, not the product. But we make amazing watches, that's for sure. But honoring that history, I believe, and like I think Bill was saying earlier, that people came back from Vietnam and they were, spat on, I think he said, and people came back from Iraq and Afghanistan, they were heroes. That's a part of history that needs to be. It all needs to be honored. So telling stories and keeping a real piece of something meaningful on your wrist that you carry with you is also a reminder of where you've been and that you're still here, and time's going to keep ticking, and how do I want to live it? How do I want to? I'm creating history now. How do I want that to be? How do I want to look back in 10 or 15 years from now and say, what was my history? I want to look back on 20, however long I've got left, and say, that was a good life. The more I get to do these things and where my life is at the moment, the closer I get to my breakdown in my early 20s, where I can't stop thinking. Not I can stop thinking about it, but I think about it a lot, where I think I was so close to checking out because I didn't have the tools and I didn't talk about it, and nobody talked about it. So I was, I almost let it go too far. So I talk to anyone who'll listen at the moment, because I look back and what I would have missed out on. Like, I love my life. It's incredible. And I've lived such an amazing life, but I nearly missed all of it because I was too scared to seek help. Because I didn't want to. The only movies I'd seen, the only reason I knew about psychiatry was from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and I wasn't going there.
No.
So that's part of the stigma that makes a lot of people, and also I think with guys that are also in the military, from what I can gather from an outsider, the military train you to look after yourself and to be able to support yourself. So I think it would make it even harder to ask for help. That's just my outsider's opinion, and I could be 100% wrong there, but I think we're in a better place now, and this started out on history, and it went back to mental health again, because we're creating history every day. And my history has a huge breakdown in it, and a huge dark patch that took me years to climb out of, several years. And but it turned out to be a blessing that gave me a much richer, engaged, and fulfilling life, because I see the joy in the small things, and I connect with people more. And I would never wish that breakdown on my worst enemy, but I wouldn't swap it for the world, because it drove me forward, and that's my history, and that has to be honored. Like, the more we kind of try and not honor our history, the more we're wearing masks and trying to cover up, and that's exhausting.
Yep. And it's a false sense of like what it is to be expected to other people suffering, right? And that's why I really don't edit what I show people. I show them when I'm getting medical treatments. I show them when I'm doing these things. I've written about alternative treatments for PTSD. And the reason I do this is because so often we tend to like mask when we're suffering. We mask any sort of recovery, and when we're doing our treatments, we don't talk about it. And a lot of other veterans behind us, they don't know that, they can ask for help. They can look into alternative treatments or elective therapies, or there's other things out there. And unfortunately, you're right. There's that like the perfect persona of like the Instagram perfect life, or, any sort of social media where, it's unfortunately very much not telling what is really going on, what demons that person is facing or what they're dealing with. So
but what do we do if we're a kid and we break our leg? We put a cast on it and we proudly get all of our friends to sign it because it's something to be proud of. We're injured, we're broken, we're hurt. But if it's in here or in here, it's I can't say that. That's it's weak and it's whatever, and it's got to stop. Yeah, exactly. It's got to stop before it's too late.
Yep.
And then it was nearly too late for me, and I'm so glad it's not. I'm living proof. I'm living proof of the second chance. I'm living proof of every second that's here is valuable. And if you knew what was, if I knew what was around the corner, I never would have worried. But it's a pretty simplistic way to look at it.
It's not
Life's a lot more layered. Life's a lot more layered and nuanced than that, but
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that it's very much symbolic of what you do as your mission, with your watchmaking, with your outreach. I mean, you're definitely including people that you absolutely didn't have to include, but at the end of the day, it means something to all of those people that you're giving those opportunities to. These are people that would never have had an opportunity in these platforms that you are giving them that opportunity. These are people that would have never had their voices heard. And you're giving them that opportunity just through what you're doing as a project. And I mean, I can't tell you how much, we as veterans very much appreciate that.
I appreciate hearing that. And thank you. Thank you for helping me spread the word.
Well, I do what I can where I can, sir. I have my wild adventures, like the Sins of Anarchy podcasting experience. I think that's how I explained it the other day. But absolutely, I mean, I believe in using your platform appropriately, and not everyone does so, but that doesn't mean that it wouldn't make me as someone that wants to be my own example. So that's why I try to help where I can and advocate how I can, where I can. And I end up in some odd places. That's how I ended up with 2 Live Crew this last summer at a veteran fight card. So you really never know where you're going to do advocacy. Yeah, they're pretty entertaining. It turned out that Mr. Mix is an Air Force veteran. I don't know if anyone else knew that, but he totally is. So, and they're big on advocating for veteran homelessness, which I very much respected. And they helped After the Mission, which is another veteran nonprofit, and they helped Louisiana homeless veterans, which I thought was amazing. But as someone you would never have thought a fight card would have funded, but absolutely was something that they did. So I just happened to end up in odd places. But I know we kind of ran a little bit over tonight. So before we do close out, I'll have you, Arron, give out our closing words, and then we'll have us follow that with Sky Shark and John.
Sure. One, thank you for having me again. Thank you for letting me tell my story. I want to tell it to anyone who'll listen, not just that we want to help veterans, but also my mental health story, because it's, I'm still here and I'm loving it. So, reach out, don't wait until it's too late. Like I nearly did, because I've been a big mistake. And if you do, or if you are, obviously seek help. But if you are interested, or if you're an association or a veteran and you'd like to be part of our affiliate program, www.bausele.com, and you'll see the US Army tab on the website, and scroll down that page, and it will take you to the application form. I mean, it's not a super tight application form because if you're a veteran, you're in. But if you're an influencer, maybe not so much.
Hey, what could be your veteran influencer? You double, like, or is that
well, you're in already then, you know. But I really appreciate your time, and nice to meet you, John and Sky Shark.
He's like, I wish I could go back to the name on there. Like, I like he's got the Vietnam era helmet too. Nice.
Yeah, this is an original Vietnam helmet from my cousin.
I called it. Yeah, buddy, I'm Air Force. I called that one. So, what are some of your last words there, Sky Shark?
Yeah, so again, you know, we were kind of late, so hopefully I'm not double tap anything that Bill has said already. But one nice thing about meeting you and listen to Arron's words and the things that he does is we're all friends doing the same thing, right? Trying to help veterans and generally people in need, right? So any chance that you get to empower somebody, that's really powerful. From our end, there's something particular about skydiving and parachuting. You can have the worst day, or you could be kicking all the rocks in the parking lot. Go make a jump. There's not anywhere in the world where there's not a drop zone there. Even Hawaii has like 4 drop zones. So if you're hearing this and you're one of those veterans that are kicking rocks, go find a drop zone. Go do a jump. If you need help locating it, you can always reach out to us. Or the USPA's website. It has a drop zone locator. Just something about conquering, you know, a lot of people say, oh, it's fear. It's actually natural instinct, right? So veterans, you know, when I come back, they were like, the veteran, you know, the VA's like, you got PTSD. And I'm like, I like motorcycle. I bought a motorcycle. I'm doing cool things with my friends. Like, how is this being depressed or anything? And so just understanding that that we're kind of we are used to enjoying the excitement and the natural instinct of like a firefight. You're enjoying the natural instinct your body gives, you know, that fight or flight thing. So we learn to enjoy that. Or, you know, you're high-fiving your friends, or, you know, close call. You're like, you tell all your buddies, man, did you see that? You know, like, that's exciting. So how do you get that back home here without like robbing banks and stuff? That's what skydiving, parachuting in general does. It lets you enjoy the natural instinct. You know, everyone's like, I'm so scared. I'm like, man, you'll be good till the doors open up. And then your body's telling you, you know, hey man, we're not supposed to be in the air. Definitely not supposed to be flying with the door open to a plane. So I just think veterans really need to reach out to the skydiving community and the round parachuting community as a whole, whether it's our team or anyone else, and really just let that change your attitude. It literally is an adjustment. We've saved many veterans. If you get out there on the internet, you'll see some of our veterans in the middle of interviews just admit it. And that is what really keeps us going.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and just as far as we're concerned, yeah, you know, we run a couple of training and proficiency events throughout the year. You don't have to be a previous jumper, or you could be a previous jumper, and we'll get you trained on our equipment, make sure you're up to speed, get you get your jumps in. Our next event, you can find us at rcptusa.org under the events tab. It's going to be our next training event is March 20th through the 27th. But more than that, more than just the jumping, is we sit around and everyone tells their war stories or their fish stories or their stories. You know, you break bread, you can drink a beer, you can smoke a cigar, or just kind of hang out and make new friends. It's a week long. So it's a lot of hard work. So I don't want to say a party, but it's a week long gathering, and it's a lot of fun, and you people, you know, I personally get a lot out of it. And like our motto says, it's more than just a jump. We're not just jumping out of airplanes. You know, we're creating community and connections and supporting one another.
Yep. And that's what's so important. I know the reason that I actually reached out to RCPT is I had heard about them a few years ago through Grunt Style, but I was a little concerned. But Daniel Flint, the historian, actually reached out to me, and he was the one that convinced me, like, come out. It'll be great. I was very, very thankful to have been able to reach out with May Cryer as well. I'm excited to come out there again in March. I can't wait to see what some Sky Hotties will look like dropping from the ceiling or, from the Huey, whichever. But either way, I think it's going to be amazing. I'm excited for the project, and I can't wait to see what we come up with. Anyone who knows me knows I make some pretty memorable photo shoots. So I'm pretty excited to see what we can come up with. I love seeing the veteran community support. I love when people talk about mental health and awareness because it's so important. And I love seeing all these get married together. And we're very, very thankful, Arron, that you come on with us tonight and take some time out of your very busy schedule to talk about a very near and dear project to your heart as well. And we very much thank you for everything that you've done for us veterans.
Thank you. Thanks for allowing me.
Well, I can't wait to see where everything goes from here. I know there's lots to be continued with what you're working on now, and you're absolutely welcome to come on at any time. And I can't wait to show your progress with what you're doing. And anybody that wants to be an advocate, it's not easy to sell stuff. I learned this myself. However, if you think you guys can do it, reach out to Arron because he makes some pretty amazing watches, and it does go to a pretty amazing cost. So. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up for tonight. But before I do, definitely go to www.bausele.com /US Army or the U.S. Army tab. Or if you want to check out these crazy dudes down below, RCBT-USA. These guys are pretty interesting characters themselves. I was pretty entertained the whole weekend, and I'm pretty surprised that they almost threw an amputee out of the Huey. That almost happened, but she was wanting to go. Trust me, she's pretty excited, but she can't wait to come back. And I love seeing how all of you empower veterans in different ways, and I'm very thankful that you guys could come on tonight. But if anyone does have any questions, please reach out to us. We are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and please let us know. Message us if you have any concerns. If not, please reach out to these organizations directly. Absolutely. And you guys have a good rest of the night, okay?
Thank you.
Go get some lunch, Arron.